Record this. Hi, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome.
Let's go to, you want to, no, let's not go to.
So you're on live right now, but you
I
don't
know
care.
this. Okay. No, but I do care. But I was going to go to full, you want to go to full screen or
Whatever you'd like to do. I don't know enough about Zoom, how to do this.
Let's just leave it there. So
Tile window to left of screen.
No, let's don't do it.
I just did it.
And now let's undo that.
I don't know how. You want to start over?
Okay.
Do you want to start over or no? Okay.
No,
All
let's
right,
go
this
to
is it.
Let's escape this.
Escape? Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Escape is the ultimate, I'm not sure what to do.
You know.
But let's escape. Folks,
thanks for joining us. We had those in live. It's good. Okay. Hi, everybody.
Just one Control Alt Delete away.
Okay. Good to know.
Good. That's it. Okay.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Dan and Cindy.
Come on.
It's Sunsets with Dan and Cindy.
All right, everybody.
We love that. The Voices of Las Vegas.
Thank you.
So great. So welcome. As many of you know, but we try to say it every week, this crazy little show is born out of quarantine. We felt like the boomer generation really needed to understand a little bit of technology to stay connected.
Right.
The name Dan and Cindy came from a skit we did at church. We were hosting. Don said something snarky. I said, "What'd you say that for, Dan?" And he said,
"I don't know, Cindy, but my best
radio voice.
Yes, radio voice or Thurston Howell. Thank you.
Thurston Howell, there it is. And so then the Almanac told us a couple of years ago, the new buzzword was pre-tiree.
Come on.
So we know full well, we are Don and Sandy, but our pre-tiree names and the hosts of the show of Sunsets with Dan and Cindy. It's been a week. First, I gotta say, this guy had a birthday this week.
Oh, is that qualified for?
That's a shout out.
Is that a shout out?
Because listen, Mr. Don, and it was just so great to see everybody celebrating you. Well, do you have a highlight of this week for you?
You know, yes, I do. And we'll have to talk about the precursor. Really, it's about context, which she loves. Cindy loves context. The past 2 weekends, and you're probably wondering why we showed you Bill Gaither last weekend, was because we have had grandkids for the past 2 weekends. And we've got to tell you, we've been exhausted.
You see that concealer under my eyes? It's there.
It's been fantastic.
For a reason.
So in telling you that, we had the Kreiders in from Nashville.
Yeah, Molly came from Indiana.
Well, that was 3 things. Molly came from Indiana. Kreiders came in from Nashville. And then Anna and Madeline came in this past weekend. So highlighted the birthday. It's all been fantastic.
Yeah.
And
we kind of do birthday month.
So there's still time. You can just send out your birthday wishes on this, on the chat. Just send a little bit of birthday. It's all good. It's all great. But Madeline and Anna came to the chapel on Sunday. And it was just so awesome because once I finished, and Maddie is 5. So she, in church, I came through the door to sit down with you, and she just made a beeline. And hugged me. And
John Ortberg was speaking, and he kind of went,
"Oh, did he really?"
Yes,
okay.
he did. Maybe, I don't know. Why let that get in the way of a good story?
But Madeline, if you're watching, thank you, sweetheart. That was so great. And it's been just fantastic.
It has. You got to golf with some buddies. And
we did Tuesday night.
To Brahms with some friends.
Thank you.
Choir. Wednesday night, they brought you some
bag of
burgers. You didn't have to go to Brahms.
When you get to the point you love your life, you're so grateful. So know this, I'm so very grateful, so very thankful. Every good and perfect gift comes from, but why would the good Lord be so good to this West Virginia boy?
And I just want to add, we've talked about it before on the show, birthdays are especially meaningful to you as you were adopted. 61 years ago.
It's a couple years ago.
And because you're 66 now. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You're 61. And so I just, I think your family, your friends always try to say to you in one way or another every year, we choose you.
Thank you.
So happy birthday.
Thank you, love. All right.
And what do you got for Almanac for us?
Well,
first of all, let's do the jingle. Got it.
You got it?
Got it.
It's an Almanac moment with Dan.
Come on.
All right, since 1792, it's been your friend and mine, the good old Farmer's Almanac. And Cindy, let's see, what day is it?
What day is it?
Thank you, Cindy. It is the 71st day of the year. 71.
I
But isn't
can't
it just-
believe it's already March
But
and
isn't
it's
it the
the middle
12th?
of March.
Almost coming up on the Ides of March.
Oh.
And one thing we know, our Christmas decorations did not see the Ides of March.
Nor St. Patrick's Day.
All right, no March.
They're gone.
Can you tell me, Cindy? Can
I'm
you
sorry.
Tell me,
I
Cindy,
just realized you
Oh,
put that back there.
There's the bobblehead back there, Cindy.
Oh my goodness. So
Oh,
this
that's
has
so good.
been sitting at the office.
Thank you, fans everywhere.
Oh,
I think it's time for
it's
this
my
is great,
very own bobblehead.
but I think it's time for the Dan and Cindy bobblehead. So whoever's out there watching, Dan and Cindy, we put the challenge out. The Dan and Cindy bobbleheads. But
sparkly shoes and everything.
all
I
right,
just saw that. You
don't
put
let her
that
fall.
up
She's
there.
leaning. She's leaning.
She's like,
I got it. Let me do it.
If I had a nickel,
So here, if it comes in like a lion,
Lion.
it goes out like what?
a lamb,
And if it comes in like a lamb, it goes out like?
a lion.
Thank you. Well, on this day, 6:01 was sunset again. Boston, the sunrise. Why do I say sunset? Because I love sunset. We're not really sunrise watchers.
No, we are not unless we
5:40
stayed up all night.
5:47 was our sunset time. And we started off March, 11 hours, 15 minutes. Guess where we're at now?
Where?
11 hours, 46 minutes of daylight.
Get
All
out.
right. Here's a couple other things that we're finishing up on the Almanac. Okay. Why aren't there exactly 12 hours of daylight and 12 hours of darkness?
I was literally thinking that question.
On the spring equinox. On the equinoxes, the very center of the sun sets just 12 hours after it rose. But the day begins when the upper edge of the sun reaches the horizon,
Oh.
which happens a bit before the center rises and
Yes,
doesn't end until the
okay.
sun has set.
So till the edges, both
Yes.
times.
Not only
Oh,
that,
I didn't know that.
but the sun is actually visible when it's below the horizon as Earth's atmosphere refracts the sun's rays and bends them in an arc over the horizon.
That's my favorite part.
Cindy. Now,
See?
wait, folks have been waiting. You out there, I knew it yesterday was Johnny Appleseed Day.
Get out. No.
Okay. Oh, we just gave you
No.
Johnny.
It's a shout out.
Johnny Appleseed.
All right, that's what I got this
I
week.
love it. Now you read though something to me. It was for a few days ago, but it was
Okay.
on the little
It
tear
was-
out thing
She
that we.
has gotten me the Almanac calendar. See this? This is page.
It's so sweet.
This is a great moment. Thank you, Farmer's Almanac. We know sales are up online and in print. When tough times come, it is particularly important to offset them with much gentle softness.
Oh.
Get this, be a pillow. So what
Be
if
a
the church,
pillow.
what if we
I just
welcomed,
love that.
what if we welcomed
Mhm.
every problem, every person, every
Be a
obstacle?
pillow.
We were a pillow. There's your word.
A
There's your word
soft
for
place.
It's an almanac moment with Dan.
All right, Dan.
You're a
Well, I have a few shows actually coming
Let's
up.
talk about it.
Super excited, and Thomas will put all the links here for you. But in 2 days, we're going to be in Branson, Missouri.
Where's that again?
Branson, Missouri.
2 days, March
So
14th.
March the 13th, March the 31st. I'll be speaking here in Oklahoma, for the Northwestern Foundation and alumni. So that's in Alva, Oklahoma.
Okay.
I get to speak just
Hello.
for a little bit.
Hello.
So that's on the 31st of March. April the 22nd, we'll be in Lincolnton, North Carolina.
North
Again,
Carolina.
Thomas will put all of
Yes.
these up.
Yes.
April the 30th will be in Patterson, Georgia. So that's March and April.
Hello.
If we are coming near you, let us know, okay? Come see us. We'd love to say hi and, always tell them Dan and Cindy
And
sent
again,
you.
those dates, Thomas, will put them
Yeah,
up for
Thomas.
you. All right. What else you got
Now,
there?
a lot of people know that we just spent a week on a Royal Caribbean cruise
Yes, it was. Yes.
with FamilyLife.
Yes.
With the Love Like You Mean It. We've gone crazy
We have.
for Love Like You Mean It
We have.
and for Family Life. And so we are so excited to introduce, in fact, I'm just going to bring him on
in.
right now
Bring him in.
to go ahead and introduce to you one of our new favorite people in the whole world. There he is. Do all the things you need to do to unmute and all that. Please
Let's give
make
a shout
very
out.
welcome to Ron Deal from Blended and Blessed Family Life. Hey, Ron.
Hey guys, great to be with you. Always fun to be with you guys, and we were on the cruise together not too long ago, and that was fantastic.
It was so wonderful. We have a little theme song that we want to play for this segment because you're our special guest. So here we
Wow.
go.
Here we go. This is it.
It's time for Dan and Cindy, special guest.
So there you go.
Is that not so 60s? I mean, it's just like I Dream of Jeannie's going to come walking out
Exactly.
onto the set.
That is amazing.
So Ron, thank you for joining us. We are we loved being on the cruise. It was a refreshment to our souls.
It was.
And we have fallen in love with family life. So take us back just a little bit. Give us an overview of family life. And then we want to specifically talk about blended families.
Yeah, well, Family Life is about 47, going on 48 years old. We are a ministry of Cru. Campus Crusade for Christ is what a lot of people know us as. So we're one division of Cru here in North America, but we have an international ministry. Family Life is around the globe. We have a national radio broadcast called Family Life Today. Some people will recognize Dennis Rainey and Bob Lepine were the original voices on that program, and leadership has changed as time has gone on. Family Life is very diverse. We're in 105 countries around the world. We have a number of podcasts that we produce, curriculum for churches. We do the Weekend to Remember Marriage Conference every year that it's done, well, pre-COVID. It was done in about 90 cities a year in North America alone. So thousands of people, millions over time have gone through that Weekend Marriage Conference event. We equip churches to do ministry on a regular basis. Parenting, marriage education, blended family is the department that I manage for Family Life.
Yeah. I didn't know until we had a chance to kind of visit on the cruise that the Women of Faith family and the Family Life were kind of born out of the same,
If you will, DNA.
a lot of the same DNA, kind of the roundtable discussion. How can we impact? And so for a lot of the people who've not heard of Family Life and you've heard of Women of Faith, it's the same heart. It's the same, all of that. Do you want to speak to that a little bit?
Oh, sure. I mean, focus on the family. Ministries like New Life Live Ministry with Stephen Arterburn and Family Life, we're cousins. We have the same DNA. We are about equipping people with biblical truths to help them live life in their families today. And the reason, the end game here is not a healthier marriage or, great kids. It's that the gospel gets transferred into the world through the family. We think the family is one of the primary places where the gospel gets transmitted generation to generation, but also as we live it out with our neighbors. And if marriages are strong, marriage is supposed to be a picture of who God is. So it's a testimony to the very nature of God and his love for the world. If marriages come apart and are destructive and children are growing up in very unhealthy environments, their likelihood of pushing God further away goes up considerably. So this is sort of kingdom business that we're involved in.
Yeah.
That's really good. Ron, that's so great that the family, really undergirding the family structure in all the ways that we find it. You mentioned earlier your specific assignment or division, if you will, is the blended family, the step family. We hear a lot about that today in the church, but give us some background. Give us, maybe give us the why, a little bit of why the blended family, why the step family today as you develop curriculum and programming in your initiatives.
It's a great question. For decades, the Christian church has invested in couples, families, singles, individuals around the themes of marriage and family. A subgroup that at one point in time in the past was a pretty small group of people around the world called step families or blended families. Those terms are interchangeable. Was really not something we paid much attention to. It's just sort of off to the side. Well, this is a growing population. Not too long ago, I read an evangelistic blog that said the number one quality of families going forward who are unchurched is that they're blended families.
I heard that.
I would say to you, even within the church, there is a tremendous aspect of, or a tremendous number of step families and step relationships. 1 out of 3 Americans, 35%, of all Americans have a step relationship of some point, of some kind, either a step parent, a step sibling, or a stepchild. We don't know if the numbers are quite that high within evangelical churches across the country, but I actually think they very well are. And in
I think it is.
some pastors tell me, well, at my church, it's even higher than that. It's a very common dynamic. And so you may have viewers right now who are going, well, we're not a blended family, but my son or daughter just became a step parent, or
That's exactly right.
their kids just got a step parent in their life, and we're now step grandparents. Like, what do we do with that, right?
Well, right, Ron, we're going to ask the folks right now, forgive me for interjecting, but if, as Ron is continuing, give him a minute just to reboot, let us know, how are you viewers out there? Are you grandparents? Are you parents of a blended? Are you in a blended? And that, let us know how, and let's look at what, we'll do a little pocket.
And maybe you're
we'll do
a teacher or a leader. There's probably more than not now. You're going to interact with someone who's connected and tethered with a blended family.
Yes.
So I love that statistic, 35%, because that's a very real statistic. Right. And your personal, why did this feel like where God was leading you 27 years ago?
Lots of people get into the expertise that they pursue because it's personal for them. Right. I'm one of those persons where that's not my story. I'm here because I just saw the need and started trying to respond to it. I just had this crazy idea that in doing local church ministry, which I was a local family minister for a number of congregations for the first 25 years of my professional life, I had this crazy idea we should minister to all families, no matter what they look like, no matter what their background was. We should bring the gospel and the good news to that situation and move them forward in faith. And so I started almost 30 years ago now working with step families. And little did I know there was a big need, and one thing led to another, and it sort of just became this incredible ministry that I just was honored to be a part of.
And again, we're going to talk about resources in just a little bit. I've got some of your books here. We'll show them, but if we could do a pick list of what you see. Again, Ron, we're going to take a straw poll. I'm going to break down the number I'll count the number of comments. I'll divide that into the number that are touched by blended, and we'll get some stats. Mm-hmm. It's 65%. Is it 75% of viewers? We'll do a little armchair analysis. But what are some of the topics that you see? I've got this working hunch that not just blended families, but all families experience some of these same. But what's your pick list of you'd say, here are my top 5 or top 3 issues that blended families really deal with?
One of the things is the intersection between parenting, step parenting, and marriage. In a biological family, mom and dad are raising their kids, and because the children came after the marriage, everybody supports mom and dad's marriage, right? Mm-hmm. Think about it. What do kids do or say if mom and dad's relationship gets in distress and they're pulling away from each other, maybe even physically separate, go into different homes? For the kids want them back together again, right? Because everything is invested in mom and dad's relationship. Well, in a blended family, it starts where the kids came first. The kids were around. The kids have an established relationship. And so now the step parent comes onto the scene, and it gets a little more difficult for there to be unity among the bio parent and the step parent as they're trying to lead the kids. The kids view one person differently than they view another person. And so what starts off as a little parenting moment dilemma for a step parent, for example, immediately becomes a marriage issue because we get cross with each other. And one person says, I think you're choosing your kids over me. And all of a sudden, the tension has really ramped up considerably. That's number one. Let me give you a second one.
Yep.
There's a whole lot of ambiguity. Step families are born out of loss, but they're born into ambiguity. And ambiguity brings with it its own grief. Let me tell you something about blended family living. It's as different as life before a pandemic and life in the middle of a pandemic. Now, everybody in the universe understands that one right now.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Because for the last 2 years, we've been living a new rhythm in life, a new rules about how to do life in society and how to work from home, church from home, try to figure out how to stay connected to your family from home. And yet we've sort of figured it out. In the beginning, it was ambiguous. We didn't know what to think, what to feel, what to do, what was wrong, what was not wrong. By the way, the experts still sort of don't agree on how we should handle all this. See, that's what ambiguity gives you, is a lot of questions and not many answers. Blended family living on day one is sort of like that. A lot of questions. Who has the answers? Right. I don't, you don't, we don't. everybody's got an opinion about what should be, but nobody agrees about what should be.
Yeah.
And that's ripe for conflict. It's that
It
kind
is.
of stuff that is very different and unique that causes a lot of distress within blended families and ultimately in the couple's relationship. And if the couple comes apart, the whole family's coming apart.
Yeah. You not only talk about it so eloquently, you've got resources, and as as our listeners and viewers are watching, there is an event coming up. Not to mention, these are in our own library.
We're right here. Thank you.
I want to say a personal word to you, Ron, that you have created a space of grace for me and Don and for our kids. And it is felt, the ripple has been felt all throughout our family. And so for that, we thank you. Tell us about the event coming up right now, how we can access it, and why. I'm giving you a couple questions. Why is it important that the church be at the front edge of this conversation?
Yeah, great questions. Okay, so the event is called Blended and Blessed.
Nicely done.
Our theme this year is a good blend. We're going to try to help people merge well and manage the challenges that come along with being a blended family. We do this event, this is now our 6th event. It is a worldwide live stream, just like this is accessible around the world. Well, Blended and Blessed is going to be accessible through a live stream option. So there's 3 ways to attend. If you happen to be anywhere near Houston, Texas, that's where we're going to be live. Come be with us. Houston's First Church there in Houston. You can just walk in and sit down with us. The second way is you can sit at home and live stream it through your smartphone or your laptop computer or whatever works for you, just like you're viewing this. It's that simple. But here's the third thing that really gets at something that we're passionate about. Churches can host this live stream event. So get the picture. It is a marriage seminar specifically designed for couples and blended families. There's really nothing like it. We're the only ones really doing this with this level of expertise. We're bringing in different speakers every year. Every event is new and challenging and encouraging. It starts with worship. We end the day with prayer. Like, it's just bathed in the Holy Spirit. And we are practically giving people guidance about how to do life well.
Absolutely.
Good.
But we want to connect churches to people. It's just like you said, there needs to be a connection of grace between how churches respond and families. Families often feel invisible and marginalized from their local church. There might be some reasons we could talk through about why that is. The bottom line is there's a little distance there. Well, if a church hosts this, you instantly become a conduit of grace, mercy, and they feel what you just said you felt in the past. It's sort of like this shower of grace and like, okay, church is a safe place for us. So for less than $100, any church can host this event for as many people as you can put in the room. That's amazing.
Yeah. Wow.
All right. We make it easy and accessible and affordable. And all of a sudden you get 5 couples, you get 50 couples, who knows what you get. And you now are connecting them to one another and to the local body of believers. And you just might give birth to a church and a ministry that goes beyond that. We have seen this countless times over the last 5 years. It's a great way to start a ministry when you're not even sure what to do and how to start it.
Yeah. Well, that's great. And so the date, once again, tell us that date and give us that website so people can access that.
Okay,
and we'll put it in the comments here as well.
Good. Saturday, April 2nd. It's coming up quick. Saturday, April 2nd, 2022. And people are going to go to this website, blendedandblessed.com. I think you can see it there across the bottom, blendedandblessed.com. It gives you all the information, how to sign up as an individual couple, how to sign up if you're grandparents and you want to watch so you can support your children and grandchildren. Absolutely. This is for you. Churches, all the information's there on how to access it. It's really simple and very affordable. Less than $20 for you to sit at home and watch it. Less than $100 for you to have a group of people be a part of it.
That's really great. Yeah, we absolutely. Well, we're going to continue to have conversations with Ron Deal, with Blended and Blessed, with Family Life. We are just so over the moon with the space of grace that they provide so many people. So thank you. We are recipients of that grace.
Thank you, Ron.
We'll have you back. We pray blessings over the conference and all of you. Thank you for how you've spoken into our lives, and we will see you. We will see you soon with
Blended.
a lot of questions.
blendedandblessed.com out there, Dan and Cindy viewers, and let us know again, how are you connected? Grandparents, parents, children grew up in a blended family. This is going to become one of our segments with Ron and the folks at Family Life.
So if you sign up, tell them Dan and Cindy sent you.
That's it.
And Ron,
Do
thank
it.
you.
Thanks, Ron.
Thank you so much.
Love you guys.
Take care. You know, there's just great practical words, practical advice.
Practical.
Yeah.
So good.
Just
So
meaningful.
So good. So folks, again,
And it's
you're
like,
watching,
I want to say, where were you 27 years ago?
but we'll mention as well, Thomas
Yeah.
may want to put this up, that we've got our first book, and we're actually going to begin working on that second.
We are.
Really, because the life's already been lived. It's a little retrospect, but our first book, Life in the Blender, 2006. Who's the publisher with that again? Is it Lifeway? Zondervan or Lifeway? We'll think about it.
Thomas Nelson.
Thomas Nelson. Life in the Blender.
Life in the
It's
Blender.
really, for those of you that are out there in blended families, it's the first 10 years with our kids ages 11, 7, 7, 7, 6, 5, 3, and we adopted Sam. And really what we did wrong, the mistakes we made.
Really more that. And there
And
were
the
no
lessons-
resources. And so we thought at
lessons
least
learned.
we can tell people the lessons we've learned.
That's it.
So if you're going to make a mistake, make a different one than we did.
Right, Life in the Blender. All right, Cindy, what else do we have?
Well,
now?
tomorrow we start daylight savings time.
Oh,
that is
buddy.
just no fun. But I'm just not
Spring
ready to
forward.
leave Ron Deal. I
Good.
just want to
Okay.
say thank you again.
Let's do it.
When we started talking with him a few years ago,
Yes.
I remember saying to him, "You're going to get pushback."
Yeah.
We did a fabulous podcast
Yes.
with him,
Yes.
and he really asked some straightforward.
Yes. Hard questions.
And we'll post that. We'll
Yeah.
post that
Yeah.
podcast. But in doing so, he's provided a space of grace for
Yes.
us.
Yes.
And that is the heart of Blended and Blessed. Not
is.
to say, okay, tell us how you got here, but to say, okay, you're here. Let's walk with you.
Now we're moving
as you
forward
move
together.
forward. And I really appreciate, I understand now after I heard that it was sort of born out of the same round table as Women of Faith. I get it. I get it. I get it. And they're real. They're the real deal. And even though his name is Deal.
blessed.com.
Yeah.
And we've been looking, there's no small print. Blended families out there, get on board. April 2nd, 2022,
Yeah.
Houston, Texas. We'll get that out there. We're going to I'd love to figure out how to host it at Crossings.
Yeah, I know. So we're going to,
so
maybe not this one, but they
we'll
will do another one in the fall. And we're going
And
to see, maybe
resources.
we host it.
Smart Step
Yeah.
Family. He's a smart stepdad, stepmom, tons of materials available now for you. So, all right.
Well,
we gotta wrap
tomorrow
up. We gotta wrap up a little bit.
is daylight savings time. So what does that mean?
Do you fall back, Sandy, or
Oh
spring
no,
forward?
you spring forward. It's the
That's
worst
exactly
day of the year for me. I'm not a morning person, but it forces me to even be more of a morning person. Now, here's what I do. Here's a tip. I am never confident that my alarm on my phone is going to change automatically.
Okay.
So not only do I set my alarm, I set a timer.
There you
Just because I know sometimes if your phone doesn't change automatically,
go. Is
then
that a tech tip?
that would be a tech tip.
Let's just give you a little shout out.
with Cindy.
So set a timer.
Yes.
Not only your alarm, set a timer. We thank you all for being. We know we've had a few little glitches, but we are Dan and Cindy after all. If we got really good at tech stuff, you would not watch us anymore.
There it is.
We love you. It is so fun to come to you each and every day. Tomorrow is the second Sunday of Lent.
It is the second Sunday of Lent, and we're in a series of Kingdom Culture at Crossings.
Yeah.
A great series. We had John Ortberg last week. This next 4 weeks, we've got Andy Rushkoff in talking about culture, how culture trumps everything, but we're called to live in a kingdom culture. So tune in again, 9:30 Central, 11 Central, as Pastor Andy Rushkoff, one of our young dynamic speakers, unpacks the next 4 weeks kingdom culture, but we're in Lent,
Mhm.
well into Lent. Hopefully you're also touching base at easter.crossings.church. Let me say it again, easter.crossings.church for our 40-day adventure. Now, mostly I'm going to post on Dan and Cindy and a lot of our social media. The next 40 days will be devoted to the 40 days of prayer. So there's an online devotion you can receive every day.
Yeah.
But Cindy, I think you've got a prayer for us there.
You know, I'm reminded from our Ash Wednesday service, Pastor Bill Search talked about rather than fasting from something, fast toward something. And I really, really like this. So let me just read this prayer over us. O God, whose glory it is always to have mercy, be gracious to all who have gone astray from your ways, and bring them again with penitent hearts and steadfast faith to embrace and hold fast the unchanging truth of your word. Jesus Christ, your Son, who with you and the Holy Spirit lives and reigns, one God, forever and ever. Amen. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you from somewhere next week.
Yes, next week we'll be kind of live on location probably, so we'll find a way because we love coming to you every week again with something practical, inspirational, and
educational, if you can think of the word pie. That is Dan and Cindy. We'll see you next week at Daylight Savings Time.
So are we going to go ahead at 7:30 or 6:30?
You know what? I would really like to take another poll.
Let's take a poll.
I would like to know if you like 6:30 or 7:30 better.
Let us know.
So that would be Central Times, Central Daylight, whatever. I don't know.
So it could be 6:30, 7:30, 8:30, 4:30 Pacific tomorrow.
But
or it
we
could be
want your
7:30,
opinion.
8:30, 9:30, 5:30 Pacific, still in Australia.
Still in Australia, though. Hits tomorrow.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
All right, now, and let's end. Bye, guys.
And we're smiling.
In meeting for all.